what's going on there, everyone? It's been quite a while since I've done a video on this channel, and lately I've been really frustrated with one of my favorite games, as you guys know, that has been kind of centered around my channel for a long time, and that game being Dead by Daylight, right? You guys have, well, some of my older viewers have obviously known that this was a game that was basically founded off of my channel, right? Even though that my channel is pretty small for what it is compared to other channels out there. And I apologize, my voice is kind of raspy this morning, but so you're gonna hear me clear my voice a little bit. um, so I wanted to make this video because I've been really just absolutely frustrated with the direction that Dead by Daylight has been going these past few years, I would say. It's been a problem for quite a long time, and I didn't really voice. Well, I have been voicing my opinions plural, on a lot of the issues with Dead by Daylight with some of my past Dead by Daylight streams, and you guys have probably already seen that I've been frustrated with the game. As is when I would play maybe Killer, especially Killer. That's where a lot of the problems lie within Dead by Daylight in terms of the overall health of the game. Has to probably stem from the killer side of the aspects of things and trying to make it fair and or fun, I guess. But lately, to play killer is more of a chore these days than it is actually what it used to be, which was fun and fair, right? Ever since the introduction, I'd say, to perks like Decisive Strike, when those types of second chance perks got introduced, that's when killer became a little bit annoying to play. And a lot of survivors just had a lot of get out of jail free type of perks, or get out of jail free type of perks, or again, second chance perks. All right, so since there is so much shit to talk about in this video in terms of what's really wrong with Dead by Daylight, I literally had to, well, categorize them into topics, and I had to kind of list them on my phones. That way I know what it is I want to talk about, and to get my point across. So that's why I have a list of things on my phone that I had to put on my phone. Otherwise, I was going to forget important details and things like that. And obviously, I'm going to read them off to you as they go. Basically, we're going to be talking about second chance perks, things like obviously Decisive Strike. Now, Decisive Strike's not really a big issue to a lot of killers, I think, these days, as it used to be. But when I talk about second chance perks, I'm really talking about perks like Dead Hard, that being the biggest one that really needs some kind of a rework. Dead Hard, Sprint Burst, Balance Landing, those types of perks, right? Now, I don't really have, as a killer myself, I'm a killer main myself, and again, when I talk about the issues that we have for killer, I'm not trying to be biased at all because I play both sides of the game. I play both survivor and killer. Obviously, I play killer more than I do survivor just because I find the most enjoyment when I play killer than I do survivor. Being able to manipulate the game is pretty fun, though these days, I'm going to be talking about that. It's really hard to even be able to manipulate the game when you have bullshit perks like this. Now, I don't really have so much of a problem with balance landing and a lot of the speed perks. So those, like I said, we're going to touch up on this in a second. I just don't want you guys to just go, oh, he's just fucking being biased. That's what I want to iterate here, is that I'm not trying to be biased. I just want you guys to understand it from my point of view and from other killers' point of views, how frustrating this game has become to play as a killer, and I think something needs to be done about it. Now, on top of second chance perks, you got the introduction to boons now. Now, boons, those are going to be something that's just another annoyance for a killer to have to deal with, and there's no real repercussions for destroying them. Again, we'll get into boons here in a second. It seems like we're going to be talking about like how they keep nerfing killers more and more, while they seem to keep buffing survivors more. At least that's how I've seen it from my perspective, giving them, well, obviously the boons, the introduction to boons. While nerfing perks, like I already have a feeling they're going to start nerfing Pop as a Weasel. I already know Pop is probably going to be destroyed to all hell, which was the only thing that we could do to prevent survivors from basically gen rushing us. The countless amount of bugs that keep getting introduced to the game after every single update. We always keep getting more and more bugs that keep destroying the game. I'll touch up on that a little bit too. And the fact that they're not prioritizing certain aspects of the game that need help in terms of overall quality of the game or health of the game. They keep prioritizing other dumb shit over things that really need to be addressed, is what I've been noticing. The politics in the game, the forced politics that don't belong in this video game. A lot of companies do this type of shit where they like to throw all that Black Lives Matter crap in there. They like to throw all that pride shit in there when it has really no place in the game. I think it really splits an audience, and that's not to say that I'm homophobic or I don't believe in any of these stupid fucking activist groups that are going on. I just don't care. When I try to play a video game, I want to play it to get away from reality, not to keep being plugged into the Matrix. That shit is Matrix shit to me. Like, I don't want to fucking hear about it. I just want to fucking chillax. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Then there's the toxicity. We already know the toxicity is being kind of destroyed the game for a while now from the overall player base. And I think the introduction to a lot of these perks that get introduced allows a lot of killers and survivors to be toxic towards each other. And it's pretty gross, in my opinion. And then you got these annoying censorship that we have now been introduced to the chat that honestly does not belong in a fucking video game, in a rated M for mature video game, but everybody needs their goddamn safe space, am I right? So we're going to be talking about all that kind of stuff, right? Oh, and challenges. The introduction to challenges, I also believe, have kind of diminished the quality of the game. So, and I'll elaborate why in just a bit on why challenges, I think, are kind of degrading the game. All right, so my biggest problem that I have with this game right now is going to be the second chance perks. That is the biggest thing that has frustrated me while playing Killer, and I know a lot of you guys that play Killer more so are going to agree that probably 99% of the time it's going to be dead hard. With the new introduction to the dead hard change that was in, like, I don't know, I can't remember the patch notes. I think it was like 5.2 or 5.3 point something or 5.2 point something. I don't know what it was, but basically Behaviour changed it to the point where instead of it being, I guess, more killer sided or something with the client, I don't know how it all works, but so that it's not so much killer sided and now it's more like, I think it's like survivor sided or client sided. I don't know. I don't know how the fuck it works, but the feedback that you get as a killer when you hit a survivor that is using dead hard when you're right up on their fucking dick is just no. It is, the new change has made dead hard so fucking annoying to deal with that it is getting to the point where I'm about to fucking just uninstall this game or just not touch it at all, because until something's done about it. It becomes more and more frustrating to have to deal with it. Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, you could just wait out the dead hard, bro. You could wait out the dead hard. Yes, you can. And obviously that's one way to counter dead hard. Yes, but here's the thing. Say, let's just give an instance, right? Let's just say, like, I know they're going to use dead hard, right? And for whatever reason, I didn't wait out the dead hard. I forgot. I was retarded. I forgot. Whatever. That's on me. I get that. Now, have any of you guys been in a situation, and I think I have a little split clip of me doing it to this Yun. Where basically you're right up on the survivor's dick, and like, I'm going to try to explain this as in best detail that I can give, unless the video that I show you actually explains what I'm trying to say. So you'll be right up on their dick, and while they're moving into the dead hard, so dead hard is basically a no-go zone. You can't hit them regardless of how much you're up on them. So you know when you're charging your strike, you lunge, right? So as they're dead harding, I'm still lunging with them into the dead hard, and you would think as the dead hard, because the dead hard only lasts for like 2 seconds, right? 1 to 1.5 seconds. So you would think within that lunging that I'm doing to them, and I'm following them within the dead hard, that as soon as that 1 to 1.5 seconds is up, while I'm still in halfway through my hit, that it would still hit them regardless, because I was that close to them that it shouldn't have mattered if they used dead hard or not, because they've already finished that time frame that dead hard was going to save them. Does that make sense? I don't know how to really. This is what I'm talking about with the new change with dead hard. And anyway, this is how it's now currently. it doesn't matter how many times that I lunge and they're halfway through the dead hard, that it's like a get out of jail free card with them. Regardless, it's the most annoying shit. And the fact that you get hit feedback where they scream when you hit them or yell when you hit them and they still have gone through the dead hard makes it that much more annoying because it makes you think, oh, I fucking got him. But then you realize that no, it's dead hard. And that shit is the most frustrating thing ever, is the fact that you can hear the feedback of them getting hit through dead hard and it's still not processing. It's still not, the game is basically saying no, well they're dead harding. It doesn't really matter. And it's like, but I've been like following them into the dead hard with my lunge and they should have gotten hit while the dead hard had already ended. I've been that close to the survivor where it shouldn't have mattered. It's the most frustrating fucking thing to deal with the new dead hard now. And I'm sorry, but it definitely needs a new change because that shit is so frustrating. Because I'll give you another instance. Just say like this. Let's just not even focus so much on the dead hard portion in terms of maybe that aspect of it, right? Let's just say like you're a really good killer, right? You know you're a really good killer. You know how to manipulate survivors. You know how to manipulate the game in such a way that you can basically fool them, right? Feign them out and things like that. So, say like you feign out a survivor really well and you manage to actually get right up on their dick and you're about to hit them. Well, and this was going to be their second hit before they go down, right? So, but because they have dead hard, they were able to get that extra 2 fucking like feet in front of them to get through a fucking window and vault it. Now that shit is the most annoying crap to have to deal with because that's again that still kind of feels like a second chance sort of deal, and it's just like, well, there goes all that awesome manipulation that I just did and all that work to get to that survivor, and now it meant nothing because they got that second chance shit to be able to bypass it. And then you have to prolong the chase even more, and it's even more fucking time killing. And I know what you're thinking. Well, you can break off them. You can go to another gen. You can go fucking fuck with some other people. And yes, that is very true. You could do that. The thing is you've already wasted so much time on this survivor and so much work on this one survivor, probably within 30 seconds, maybe 40 seconds already. So it's like, well, what does it matter anymore? It's like, well, I may as well just fucking, I could attempt to, sure, but it's just that it's not so rewarding anymore now that you can't get that kill anymore because it's like all that work was for nothing, if that makes sense. It's just not very satisfying to play killer anymore as it used to be because before the introduction of Dead Hard, when you actually had to rely, like Survivor, when you had to rely on, you know, looping obviously, and you had to rely on using the map towards your advantage. And the same goes for killer. You had to use the map towards your advantage. That's when the game was actually the most fun because I felt like there was more of a skill base around the game where you were just really good at basically biding your time as a survivor by using the map as your advantage rather than having these fucking perks as your advantage, right? I think perks in the game need to be more designed, and that goes for killer. They need to be more designed in such a way that it's still fair, and you only really use them to where they're not manipulating the game, if that makes sense. I don't know really how to explain that. You know, if it's not going to be dead hard, these second chance perks, they're going to be these new introduction perks that we now have as killers that we have to now spend more time either or prioritizing our time even more on either do we destroy the boon or do we just leave it and continue to fuck them up, depending on the killer and depending on the situations, right? So now you got boons introduced to the game where they just add more time killers to the game, and there's no repercussions for destroying a boon. So the healing boons, right? We know they're pretty fucking OP, right? I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty fucking powerful. And I don't have too much of a problem with them per se, but the problem is now you got more of some shit to worry about as a killer, and there's no repercussions for destroying the boon because once you destroy a boon, well, the totem is still up, at least currently as of this video. And I think that's the biggest change that needs to happen in terms of balancing is that if you destroy a boon, the whole totem goes out with it. Sorry, but that is fucking bullshit that a survivor can just put up another boon fucking right on the same fucking totem and you have to keep going back to destroy it over and over and over again, which takes time. And So if you unhook a survivor that's right next to the boon, they're gonna be fucking healing 24/7 like nonstop. And I think my kitty wants out. And then you got that new boon that's coming out with the next chapter. I forget what the chapter is, the Crow Lady or the Artist as she's named. Where I think it's called. Here, let me look it up really quick. I have it pulled up. Exponential. Yeah. So this one's pretty fucking powerful too. And if you can't get rid of boons that easily, this is going to be a fucking problem if you decide to actually let survivors kind of hang out for a bit. If you decide you want to try to down another one while you've already downed one, because this can be kind of a problem. Um, so basically, this is a boon that allows you to basically fully recover within the boon radius, and it gives you, depending on the rank, 90, 95 to 100% bonus to recovery speed. Now you pair that with perks like Unbreakable, and you're in trouble. Or the Tap perk that allows you to recover and move at the same time. Now that's you're gonna see a lot of people doing some stupid shit like that, and it's gonna be a lot more annoying to deal with as a killer. Um, and it's funny because I think I sound like I'm being biased here, but am I really being biased or am I just trying to be fair? Because it just seems like you keep getting more and more perks on the survivor side that is just very fucking frustratingly and annoying to deal with when we have nothing really in our power as a killer to prevent a lot of this stuff from happening, when there's no real repercussions, for a survivor, activating these boons. Like, I can't destroy the totem. They could just put the fucking boon right back on the totem. That's going to kill time for me because I got to keep going back and destroying that fucking boon if I want to keep the game somewhat relatively fair, right? I don't know. It's just more bullshit that just seems more frustrating to me as a killer that we have to now deal with. And it doesn't really seem like it's balanced or fair, if that makes sense. So that's basically the perks aspects. All right, so this is going to be kind of on the same subject with the perks. And basically what I've been noticing is now they try to nerf survivors, but it really doesn't affect them as much as killers when a lot of perks by the killer get nerfed to the fucking ground. It always kind of seems like they buff survivors and always kind of nerf the shit out of killers. I've noticed this a lot. And again, I got to keep telling you guys this. I'm really not trying to be biased with a lot of the things that I see with this game, but this is how I've been noticing it with the game. And coming from somebody that plays killer and loves to play killer, it just keeps becoming more and more fucking of a chore to have to play killer than it used to be back a few years ago when everything kind of seemed a little fair. But I do notice that Behavior seems to like to do this thing where killers where they are actually pretty good. They're not too powerful or too overwhelming. They're just right in the right spot. You know what I mean? Where I don't think they need any changes done. And a good survivor group knows how to counter them. It's just you have all the people that bitch and whine and complain when they first get released that they want them nerfed now because apparently they don't know how to counteract them after playing them for at least a few games. That's my biggest problem. And so they get nerfed to the ground, their add-ons, the power, whatever it is, gets nerfed to the fucking floor, and then they don't become a very good killer anymore. That shit is very irritating because it's like, bro, like, just get good at the fucking game. If you are a really good survivor group, or you're just a really good survivor in general, you know how to work the game just based off of either the map or you got your little bullshit perks like Dead Hard, right? There's a lot of things you can counter a really good killer, right? Now, again, that's not to go and say that I still think Dead Hard and all those other perks need to be changed to some degree. But yeah, that's one of the issues that I have with the game is the constant nerfing of the killer side, and there's really nothing being done about the shit on the survivor side that we have to constantly keep dealing with, or otherwise meta, right? That's what a lot of people actually call these types of normalcies, is like the meta perks that survivors use or the meta perks that killers use. I think there needs to be some kind of balancing that's fair on both sides of the spectrum, both survivor and killer, where, and I think a lot of that will solve a lot of the toxicity issues actually when you have perks that aren't bullshit and people actually feel like they're getting outplayed fairly. And you know what I mean? Like, people wouldn't feel so toxic, I think. And again, we'll get into the toxicity aspect of this, but I wanted to touch up on this while came to mind, is I think a lot of the toxicity that's surrounded by this game is involved with these types of perks that we have, like Pop Goes the Weasel, Dead Hard, No Ed, fucking sprint burst, all these bullshit perks that are basically like just annoying as fuck to deal with, right? It's both frustrating on both sides of the play field here, and I think something needs to be done with them. I don't think any of these perks should have ever had came out to begin with, because now you've created this cesspool of fucking retardation within the community where people are just going to constantly keep bickering at what it is that you're playing. Like, they always like to like talk shit on the way your play style is. That's usually what I've noticed with a lot of my shit. You should see my Steam profile. I have so much countless amounts of shit. I DC all the fucking time, and I'm proud of it. I don't even give a fuck that I DC, because I'm tired of dealing with a lot of the crap that I basically get slung at me. And so I always get a lot of DC fucking comments or homophobic comments, when honestly that's further from the truth, and it's the funniest shit, honestly. So, and it's kind of funny because a lot of the people, I don't want to talk into this. I'll get into this when we get into the toxicity part, because I'm kind of going off a tangent here, but we'll get into that with my Steam profile, because I have a list of crap on my profile that I'd love to just keep out there because it's the funniest shit. So we have bugs. Bugs, I'm just going to kind of briefly talk about this. You guys are already well aware of this being a problem within Dead by Daylight, is the countless amount of bugs that we get within the game after, at least it seems like every patch, or every patch that kind of gets introduced, especially with new DLC that comes out. DLC. Every time that we get a new patch or a new killer, especially, something breaks. I don't know how, but some of the stupidest shit will break that you were like, yo, what the fuck were they fucking with to make this even break? Like, it's like you think that they were just focusing strictly on the DLC and maybe some other bugs or something that they were fixing, but it seems like anything that they fix, like they fix one thing and then 10 more things break, and then the whole gameplay of the game is just fucking trash, or the servers turn into shit. Servers and bugs kind of go hand in hand. There's always a bunch of server problems with this game, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's like this game has now become to the point of a AAA titled game where, like, what the fuck is going on? Can you not afford real good, like, coders? Are your NPCs in fucking Behaviour, like, really bad at coding? I don't understand. Like, why is it so complicated for an Unreal Engine 4 game to be coded correctly with what you're trying to do with this game? Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how the fuck game development works, but I don't understand how a million things break with this game with the introduction of a new DLC. You have fucking playtesters, you have your own fucking playtesters in your studio, and yet you can't find, and it's some of the simple, like some of the easiest bugs to find too. It would be like in your face kind of bug, like it's just simple gameplay you'll be playing, and there's a bug right there in your face, and it's like, did you guys not catch this? This is game breaking as fuck, and you just released this. Like, we had beta testing, we had public testing, you guys could have tested this shit on your own. Like, I remember one bug that was really fucking annoying, and it just made you give up on the game, because if you were to leave, you get DC penalties, and that was those hills. Those hills that you use to kind of you can go around them, but in the middle you can go up them. You know what I'm talking about. I forget what hills these are, but they're on certain maps like Auto Haven Wreckers and some of the estate maps. Anyways, you climb up on these, and you can use them for like balanced landing essentially. Well, if you were to go around them in a specific corner of that hill, you would actually get stuck. And I think I know you guys know what I'm talking about. This shit was annoying. You would get stuck and you couldn't do anything. Your whole survivor was stuck. It didn't apply to killers, but it applied to survivors. And if you were stuck, that was it. You were never gonna get out unless the killer was gonna feel either nice enough and down you so you can get out of it, or hook you at least, and then you can get out of it. That was the only way, was if you were basically going to get picked up and dropped. That type of shit is very game breaking, and I guess I could understand nobody really caught that unless they were really like going around that hill. That's some very, very important shit that needs to be addressed like ASAP. Like an immediate patch needs to be pushed out on that fix. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just, oh well, we'll fix it eventually. We need to fix a bunch of these other bugs before we can basically put a patch out. And it's like, no. You need to spend the resources now and fix this immediately, because this is a big priority right here, that you need to fix this ASAP. Like, a patch needs to come out within like at least 12 hours to fix this. All right, my favorite. Um, Not really my favorite, but politics. Gonna need a drink for this one. So I know I'm gonna get chewed up for some of you people that have your political beliefs and shit. But I'm sorry, but this type of shit don't belong in a video game. And a lot of companies do this shit, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video. God, it's just annoying to have to deal with this type of shit and a piece of entertainment that you just want to enjoy and you don't want fucking shoved in your face or down your throat. I'm actually thank God they didn't fucking implement some dumb Black Lives Matter crap into this game. So, like, I need to collect myself because this type of shit gets me so mad when a lot of this stuff gets introduced to the game. So, politics and entertainment. Depending on the piece of entertainment, obviously, if that's something that you're actually going for, is obviously fine, right? But you're trying to force modern day politics into a horror video game. You see how wrong that is? Like, why are you implementing this pride awareness crap and this Black Lives Matter crap into a horror video game? Oh, well, we want to be inclusive. We want to make sure that everybody feels, accepted into our fucking realm of it. No, no, you don't. No, you don't. No. You're hopping on the bandwagon, the capitalistic bandwagon, so that way you'll get money by exploiting the retards on either the Black Lives Matter fucking bandwagon or the fucking Pride Awareness Month bandwagon. You're just trying to exploit them. You don't care about them, and I'm sorry, guys, but those of you that are into this shit, they don't care about you. It's all about the money. If they know that they can fool you guys and basically buy your trust into buying either the game itself or buying whatever merch that they have that's in support of these activist movements, then they've already won your wallet. It has nothing to do with them actually believing that they actually give a damn about you. A lot of companies do this type of shit. It's not just behavior, especially with the Pride Awareness Month crap. They do this type of shit because they know people will buy merchandise. They'll buy anything that the company will throw at them if it means a quick buck from you. No company cares about you, and why would they? They don't. All a company is there for is to make money. They have no interest of your interest. Just remember that. And so when you have a lot of this crap being pushed into the game, like pride, charm, crap, like it was a free charm, sure, but it's just like it feels like a sickness to me that every fucking individual has this charm, and it just seems silly to see this rainbow colored charm in a video game. It just seems weird in a horror video game of all things. Now, a lot of people are just going to be like, wow, you're getting triggered over a charm. It's like, well, yeah, I kind of am because it's like, I really don't want to see this type of crap in a horror video game piece of entertainment. And it's funny because now it's like if you were going to make a gay killer, because I think we have the assumption that Trickster is kind of a fruity-ish type of character, right? He's this Korean pop star type of character, right? And it's funny because I have no problem with the introduction of a homosexual type of character. Like I really don't. Actually, I think it's actually really cool. But if you were gonna do it right, I think Eddie Gluskin from Outlast would have been a way better option for that sort of weird homophobic or homosexual type of character. If you were to get the license from, I think it's Red Barrel. I think that makes Outlast. I think that killer would have been far better and far more creepier than this trickster character that we have. I have no problem with differing sexualities within the game, but I don't want it in my face. It's supposed to be led up to the character to know, to kind of give the assumption that, oh, well, this character, just by the animations, by the way that they are, that you can get the clue that they're probably differing some kind of sexuality that is led up to you to decipher. Kind of like Nia. I always kind of thought Nia was kind of more, spectring on the lesbian kind of side, that more butchy type of aspect. And I didn't need to know, her sexuality right in my face. I just kind of made that assumption. I think a lot of that kind of stuff is just led up to the player. That's kind of, I try to explain that because I'm trying to make sure that you guys understand that I'm not just against all this type of shit. within a piece of entertainment per se. It's just I don't want it thrown into my face. You know what I mean? Like I don't want these type of real world Matrix type of activist movements thrown into my video game when I'm just trying to escape reality. Is that too much to ask for? Like really, honestly, like I'm trying to unplug from the Matrix, which is reality, and I'm trying to just relax and enjoy a video game when you got all their dumb Twitter shit saying like, oh, in support of fucking Black Lives Matter, we're gonna introduce these little cool little charms to our Discord, or fucking in support of Pride, we're gonna fucking give you this free charm. Woo! It's just like it just seems ridiculous. It's like keep it out of the keep it out of your game. You're a company that is only designed to make a good horror video game. Keep politics out of it. This is not your job. This is not your spectrum. I don't care what the fuck you guys believe in. You can believe whatever the fuck it is you want. And by you, I'm not saying my audience. I'm saying Behavior themselves. You can have whatever fucking beliefs you want. But when you start throwing that shit into the game, I'm sorry, but you're really alienating a community that doesn't want anything to do with that shit. All right, and this kind of goes hand in hand with politics. Is censorship, right? The censorship that has been introduced to the game since like what is it, 5 point? I don't fucking know, 5.1, 5.0. I don't know. It was somewhere around there, I think, or it could have been even in 5 or 4 point something. Anyways, they now started censoring chat. This is a big why. Just fucking why. It is so fucking ridiculous that we actually have to be censoring chat in a rated M for mature video game. Oh my god, it is so weird and I feel like a lot of games are gonna start taking suit with this. God forbid, God forbid that somebody gets triggered playing a rated M for fucking mature video game where the goal of the game as a killer is to smack people with your fucking knife or your fucking machete violently, gory, but we have to have censorship in a video game. Because God forbid somebody says the N-word, or God forbid somebody says faggot, or God forbid somebody says something that nobody wants to hear. Bruh. Grow a fucking pair. Really, just grow a fucking pair. If you get triggered, quit the game, bro. Why? Why do we have to have this communistic type of censorship? Why, dude? Like that shit is so fucking irritating. Like you'll just be like fucking around. Maybe you just want to say something just to fuck around, not like actually like being toxic or anything. You just want to be funny or something. You just want to say some stupid shit right in the chat, and I don't know, have a good laugh or something. Maybe just before the game starts. Their censorship is so fucking weird in this game, where sometimes it works really well, and then sometimes it's really fucking awful. You'll be saying certain words that get censored when you're like, whoa, why did that get censored? That's not even a bad word, or that's not even like there's nothing bad about that word. And now I can't even fucking say what I was gonna say because the whole goddamn sentence is now fucking just hashtags. The censorship in this game is fucking cancer. Why it was even introduced is just mind-boggling, and I have a big idea that a lot of companies are going to start following suit with this type of idea in a lot of games. Like, I remember somebody bitching in the medieval game. That's kind of like the game Chivalry. It's called Mordhau. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of the game. Mordhau, a lot of people were just getting fucking like bullshit triggered. It was just bullshit. I'm sorry, but if somebody really gets triggered over somebody saying the N-word in chat, it's like, dude, stop being a fucking pussy. It's really just a fucking word, dude. If you have that big of a fucking problem, disable chat or find another game. Simple. It's like why do we need censorship? Censorship is one of the biggest no's in anything. Anything. Sorry, but there's no argument with it. If you're censoring shit, it's just it says a lot about a company, and it says a lot about you if you agree with any form of censorship. It's just annoying to deal with in this game, and I don't know how you would fix it because it is now permanent to the game and it's here to stay. So that type of shit is really annoying. I know a lot of people that would try to even talk to me in chat have had just shit censored. And I think it was because they were trying to combat toxicity, which will be my next subject. But honestly, you're really just shooting yourself in the foot and it's not actually doing its job. It's like there's a better way of going about it in terms of fighting toxicity than to censor the chat. And I think that's the key here. I don't know how you would fix this. Like I said, it's permanent. I don't think they ever decide or are going to actually revert it. But that's my problem is censorship, which goes hand in hand with the politics within this game. All right, so very briefly, the next topic I'm going to be talking about is going to be hacking. Um, since 5.3.x, 5.3 specifically, I've noticed there has been a huge influx of hackers um, since Pinhead basically came out. And I'm sure those of you have probably noticed this too. Hey, damn it. Yeah, that's right, you get over here. Anyways, so yeah, since 5.3 came out, I noticed a lot of hackers on the survivor side of things. Obviously, this goes for both sides, like, because hackers can do whatever the hell they want with the game and manipulate it how they want. I haven't seen hardly any killer hackers so much as I've seen survivor hackers, where it'd be like speed hacking, instagenning, um, being able to hook and unhook themselves over and over and over again. I've noticed that a lot. Insta healing themselves, being able to get themselves from dying state instantly. Like a lot of this type of shit that I've noticed as a killer. Like I said, I haven't noticed too many killer side hacks, but I have been noticing a lot of survivor side hacks. I don't know if it has something to do with them not being able to strip kitty their way into the killer side of things, how that all works, because I don't hack, so I don't know all the details, but I think the influx of hacking is obviously got to do with the shitty easy any cheat service that we have, and then on top of that, we have CD keys that are pretty much dirt cheap. So there's really no repercussions of getting banned because you'll just create another fucking Steam account, another email address, buy another CD key for like $6 fucking bucks, $5. And again, there's no repercussions with that because you're only losing like a Happy Meal's worth of fucking money, and you get to keep doing what you want to do. So there's that. I'm sure those of you have already seen your fair share of hacking as well, some way, shape, or form. It used to not be this bad. Like, it was really rare to see a hacker, and now since 5.3 came out, it's been kind of on a rampage. And I'm not the only one that's witnessed this because I've been noticing in the Steam forums that people are also bitching about the same thing. So, behavior, get your shit together, get a better fucking anti cheat. If easy anti cheat's not doing the job, then you really need to figure this shit out because this is also destroying the quality of your game and the health of the game. Now, challenges are another subject that I kind of want to touch up, and I think are both good for the game, but also more negative leaning, I think. Now, you have more things to do in the game, or more of an incentive to play the game, I guess, with the introduction of challenges, but there's a problem. And I'm guilty of this. I'm not going to say I'm not guilty of this. Most people don't play the game seriously with challenges, and that's either because of farming. And if you're someone that's genuinely interested in just playing a good game or a decent game, at least from a survivor standpoint, you're not really going to find that if a new rift just opens up or a new tome, I guess. Most people are just going to want to try to get their challenges done and out of the way. And if they're kinds that are really grindy, that are very, I wouldn't say they're just challenging, they're just very grindy and they depend on a lot of just situations that can either happen or they don't happen for a very long time, which is kind of like that pallet dropping one. Like, that could either be easy as hell to get, or it's going to take you quite a few games to get a game that's just how you want it to play to be able to get that challenge done. So most people end up just not playing the game legitimately just so they can get their challenges done. And I'm guilty of this most of the time. If I'm just trying to get a challenge done, I'm more than likely as a survivor just going to, within the first hook, kill myself because I'm probably more than likely going to get what I want if I get into a new game than I would be to actually get it in the same game that I'm in. And I don't want to deal with shit if I'm just trying to get a challenge done, right? So the normalcy of the game is going to suffer because of that. Because you got people like myself that don't really give a shit so much about the game as they do about the challenge, so that way they can get their fucking fragments and they can get their fucking blood points. They don't care about whether or not they're trying to get the game done at the end of the day, right? So I think that's a big problem with challenges is they don't really promote genuine gameplay and they actually just promote, farming or camping. My friend and I, we were just in a game last night where this trickster played like absolute dog shit. I don't even think they're a killer main. They just wanted their challenge done, but they were kind of like they're kind of like assholes about it. We ran into this trickster on Midwich where basically they were just tunneling and just wanting to guarantee that free kill as trickster. I don't know what challenge they were trying to get, but at the end of the game, they were just like he was just doing nothing but tunneling, and so the game was pretty much broken at that point. Like I didn't even give a shit about dying. I just wanted him to kill me because I'm like, all right, well, if you're not gonna take the game serious and you're just gonna face camp just to guarantee that 1K kill so you can get your challenge done, I don't want to be a part of it. Just fucking kill me already. Here you go. So I was actually looking for her and I both were looking for a genuine game last night, and we didn't really get it much. So at the end of the game, in the chat, he was even honest about it. He was just like, "Oh yeah, I was just trying to get a challenge done," and we were just like, "What the fuck?" But like the way he went about it was just being a real big asshole. Like he was just downing everybody that was just trying to save this guy because we didn't know what the fuck was going on. Usually, if you want to farm as a killer, don't face camp as it, dude. Why don't you just so we understand what's kind of going on because you are in control of how to manipulate the game. Killer's always been that way. You are basically in control of how you want the game to play. If you're gonna farm or if you're not gonna farm. And it's like he didn't give anybody blood points. He just fucking went straight for fucking face camping and killing anybody that was just gonna fucking save the guy. It was pretty fucking annoying. So challenges, I think that's a big problem with this game. I think they promote more of a means to farm and kind of degrade the overall health of the game in terms of trying to find genuine matches when most of the time you're just going to keep getting dog shit challenges because of this. Most people aren't going to take the game seriously. And my final key point here, toxicity. Now, it's not one of the biggest or it's not one of the smallest, just because it's on the last on the list anyway, but the toxicity within this game, I feel like, is kind of degrading the overall health of the game there, the overall quality of the game. Obviously, some of the shit people say can obviously be triggering, but again, going back with censorship, I don't believe that the game should start censoring people just so that people don't get triggered and keep going back and forth because it doesn't even matter because people will just say GGEs on the survivor side when you're fucking playing killer or fucking wow bro get better. It's like that's still toxic. You don't need to even cuss to be toxic in this game. So fighting toxicity with the censorship aspect of it is obviously not going to do anything, like I had just mentioned in the censorship portion. The toxicity, and again, I think this is going hand in hand with the bullshit perks, which I'd already mentioned. So I guess technically speaking, I've already kind of briefly talked about this whole toxicity thing. And you can see it in the Steam forums. You can see it in the chat that people are obviously pissed off with this game, and that's why this toxicity is just going to be a big bubble that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where it bursts, and people are just going to get fed up with the game, start leaving the game, and honestly, I'm getting to that fucking point. I am this fucking close to really quitting this game if any more bullshit gets introduced. And I know what you're going to say, hey, get installed again, you'll be back next week. And I'm like, fuck you, bitch. You know you're right now. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's really heartbreaking because this is a game that obviously, like I said, it started my channel. I've obviously been a big fan of it because you got my totem that I built myself that I put on this channel. There's a lot of things that obviously I kind of grew up with this game, right? This is one of my favorite games that I like to play, but it's becoming more and more of a chore and more just for your own mentality to just uninstall, like just get away from this game because it's kind of being toxic towards yourself to even fucking enjoy this game now. Because I don't know, like well, I haven't raged at all at a video game as much as I did one day when I was playing on Dead Dog Saloon. I had to deal with fucking some dead hard bullshit that I was explaining to you, where it should have hit them regardless of them going through the dead hard because I was kind of following them into the dead hard with the swing, and they still got away for free, and it cost me the game. That shit made me rage to no end. I hadn't raged that hard in forever. And it's just I don't know. I don't know how what to do. Like I've just been so frustrated with the game, and it used to not be this way. You know, I've been around the game since literally 2016, 4 months after it released, and obviously I have like 2,300 hours on this fucking game. You know, I've spent a lot of time on this game, but I don't know if I can keep doing it. Like I can't keep having this game slapping me in the face, punching me in the fucking face, trying to enjoy this game as a killer, or even playing Survivor is kind of frustrating too. I failed to mention this, but honestly, like some of the games my friend and I play, like you just want a good game. You just want a really good game where the killer's really good. You guys are, you know, relatively decent. Even if you lost the game, but you know you did well and you felt like it was fair, you wouldn't feel so bad about dying or losing as a survivor, right? It's like that's the thing that I want with this game is I want it to be enjoyable and fair, but it just feels like the current condition that it's in right now just seems stupid. Um, I don't know. Like I don't know what to do about it. It's kind of frustrating. Most of the games my friend and we join into, they're just like dog shit. They're just like survivors that honestly like our skill cap where we're at right now since it kind of reset. Like obviously we're kind of dealing with a lot of newbies, but like the ranking system in this game is kind of an issue, and I didn't really touch it as a key point. But a lot of the ranking system in this game is still dog shit. It's kind of weird because like I will be like playing by myself, and I seem to get way better games where a lot of the survivors know how to hold a fucking chase, and then her and I play together, and it seems like fucking everybody's just dog shit. Like nobody can keep a fucking chase for even 30 seconds. It's like and then you get the fucking killer that's dog shit, where they just tunnel you, base camp you, and that's not fun either. See, the way that I play as a killer, I've always tried to be fair when I play as killer. Like, I don't know, I don't understand how hard it is not to be fair. I guess I have some compassion as a killer, I guess, for whatever that's worth, right? So, like, when I play killer, I don't tunnel unless I find your ass again when it wasn't necessarily what I was trying to find to begin with. Like if I was trying to go after a different survivor and I somehow managed to find your ass within after being unhooked like over a minute ago or 30 seconds ago, I'm gonna go after you because you're the weakest link. It wasn't necessarily because I was trying to find you to tunnel you. It was because I found you and you're the easiest fucking weakest link right now. Obviously, it's called prioritizing as a killer. So, and I always make sure everybody gets their fair share of shit, which means if I've hooked that fang, well, I'm not going to go after that fang necessarily if I know that it's not going to cost me the game. I'm going to make sure that everybody gets hooked fairly and gets their fair share of fucking shit before I end the game. Because that one, that prolongs the game. Two, that gives you the most maximum amount of blood points in the game. And three, I feel like it's more fair to a lot of killers and a lot of, well, not really so much the killer side, but it's more fair towards the survivor side. So that way, hopefully, you don't get the toxic shit that is being slung at you. Like, it's kind of weird because even like if I destroy everybody in a game, it's like even when I give like just today I was playing a game and I'll show it here. I let the survivor hit me twice with a pallet to get some extra blood points. I let them almost open the door to get some like that at least that 1200 what is it 1200 blood points to opening the door, and then I grab them off of it and I hook them. I want to get my fucking 4K in there, and I want to make sure I get my blood points. I gave you at least 3,500 points worth of blood points right there. And you're going to be toxic towards me and like be like, wow, I knew I wasn't going to leave, blah, 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 blah. It's like, what are you bitching about? I just gave you blood points. Well, you wanted that extra 1,000 for leaving? Are you really that being that like stingy right now? Did you want that extra 1,000 for leaving? It's like, bruh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. I've always tried to be fair as a killer. I've always tried to somehow feel fair, at least. I mean, even though survivors may not necessarily feel like I'm being fair. I guess it's bias, what's considered fair, right? But I always made sure that I wasn't going to try to just keep hooking the same survivor over and over again within the first fucking like 2 minutes of the game or 3 minutes of the game. I always want to make sure that everything's necessarily fair. But I don't know. I guess I'm the bad guy still. I still get toxic shit slung at me on my Steam profile. On my profile, I have loads of DC comments from survivors being salty because basically I don't want to put up with shitty killers that basically fucking do some shady shit over and over again. That isn't necessarily what I consider fair. And honestly, I got to the point with this game that I haven't really been serious with it for over 2 years now. Honestly, like I don't really care about the game much, like the overall quality of the game. I mean, obviously I do and I don't because obviously I'm making this video, right? But like I haven't necessarily cared for a long time how other people like want to play the game, right? I'm kind of selfish in my own right to basically if like fuck it, I'm just gonna leave the game or fuck it, I'm gonna DC or kill myself on the hook because I don't want to fucking have to deal with this shit right now. So I get a lot of DC comments on my profile. It's pretty funny because I don't care. I just laugh, and I get a lot of homophobic type of comments on my profile, which is going again with the toxicity aspect of it. I have like so much shit on my profile, and it's just funny because most of the people that'll talk shit on your profile, they are such pussies that they don't even have their own profile open to talk shit back to them on their own profile, and that's how you know their shit doesn't mean anything because they're too much of a pussy to have their own shit slung right back at them. So I find that kind of funny and comical, where when a lot of the people that will talk shit to you on your profile, and I don't understand that. Here's the other thing too, I don't understand. I never go out of my way to talk shit on somebody's profile, even though I'm really fucking pissed. I really just don't care. I never go out of my way to talk shit on somebody's profile. It's just why, like, you're just wasting your time. You're wasting your breath. What? You're just gonna have a fucking bullshit argument with somebody over a fucking video game, dude? Bro, grow the fuck up. Like, I don't understand that. Like, it's like you people that send me this shit on my profile that said fucking yeah, fucking DC trash, blah blah blah. And it's like I don't care. Like, keep sending it to me, bro. It just shows how fucking stupid you are. It's like you're wasting your time. Why? Like, just fucking move on. Move on with your life. Go to another game. Like, I don't get it. People that send me that type of shit is just another part of the toxicity, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it for this video. I've really been wanting to make this video for a while. I just had to wait to have some gameplay footage, and I wanted to wait to basically, I guess, felt motivated enough to actually talk about it because I had actually done this prior, and I didn't feel like it was structured very well as I have it now. So that's why I wanted to now do it because I felt like I'm now in a position to be able to talk about it now. And with the new Boon perk coming out, I think it was very fitting to talk about it now, where survivors are being able to get up out of dying state now in that circle. Anyways, I don't know what to do about the game. I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed. And somehow I keep beating myself over the head trying to play this game when I know it's not going to get any better and it just keeps going downhill. And I don't know why. I just hope another fucking game comes along that's not very predatory with how they go about things. But we'll see. They keep garnering more and more licenses for the game, and it seems like they keep getting away with more shit that means, and shit that I don't agree with. I don't know. So, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns on how you felt about this game, I'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions on this game. It's very sad, but this is it. This is the end game for this game, man. Quite literally. So, I mean, yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts and comments. So hopefully you guys have a good one, and I will see you.